I don't think we're going to be able to get a three-peat with the clapping thing.
No.
Like, how far can that go? You know?
Yeah. No.
So this time...
Guess we'll just have to nail it.
So I'm only saying what the directions are. 1, 2, 3, clap on the beat after 3, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
That was not bad.
No. Like, I think that you were like half a second off on my end. I think that'll be really easy to edit. Yeah. What a disappointment.
I know.
No goofs.
So is there even going to be a cold open now?
I don't know.
Right.
We'll have to see what happens, I guess. Yeah. Maybe I'll shove one in there.
Okay.
That's what she said. No. Well, welcome to No Sad Face, the toxically positive Kingdom Hearts fandom podcast, with your hosts, me, PJ from Cabletown, and my co-host, regular Pat. Ex-husband, father of my children. I think my well has run dry on the lore here.
Yeah, episode 3 already, and we're already dry.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Where is the passion?
It's because of Kingdom Hearts 2.
I was gonna.
No one's excited.
See, when you hit us with that, well, I was like, are we already jumping into? I guess we spoke a little bit in the Calm episode. Forgiving me if I'm forgetting the details, but it's not our most favorite game of the numbered 3. That's fair to say, right? It's last for both of us in terms of the numbered.
Yes.
For me, it's still my third favorite in the series.
Look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Kingdom Hearts is a fascinating series because the entries are all pretty different from each other, and yet every game is someone's favorite game.
And this is most people's.
And for good reason. Like, all the games are good games. Like, each game has a different purpose, and they execute that, and that resonates with people.
Yeah. I mean,
science.
Like, the execution, like, the polish, the presentation of 2 is phenomenal all the way through. I mean, it feels amazing. I'm not even getting into, like, the thing that I brought to class to talk about, but I do want to give it its flowers here and say, from start to finish, I'm having fun, like, with the physicality of the game.
Well, to talk a little bit about Kingdom Hearts 2, it came out in December of 2005 in Japan. It released in March of 2006 in North America, and then the rest of the world got it in September, I believe, of 2006.
I did not know
it was
that.
painful.
I did not know
it was very
rollout
painful,
was
Pat.
That prolonged.
It was horrible. So the wait for Kingdom Hearts 2 somehow felt worse than the wait for any Kingdom Hearts game, even though I think at this point, the wait for Kingdom Hearts 4, like, we've already gotten Kingdom Hearts 2 in the same time.
Right. That's so depressing.
And we've had one trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4. But my main point was going to be essentially, like, people really wanted Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, the demand for it was pretty bad.
And PJ, they still really want it, to the point where they'd rather whatever's coming out down the pipe next to be Kingdom Hearts 2 again.
Just keep doing Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
And when it came out in Japan, I remember this distinct feeling of, like, okay, now do North America. Say something. Please. Do something. And, like, they were quiet. And people today have no idea how good they have it with, like, the near simultaneous release dates.
Yeah.
But, like, there was nothing. There was no echo. There was no cricket. There was nothing. I think it was like a Game Informer article in, like, February where they were like, hey, it's coming out next month in America.
Oh.
But, like, silence. And there were no English trailers. There was no English anything.
God.
Like, it was like they only cared about the Japanese side of it, and America hardly got anything. And then they were finally like, let's do a cast reveal in this gaming magazine, and also drop the release date. So then it came in March, and then the rest of the world was like, wait. And they finally released it in Europe and I think other parts of the world in September. But to be fair, they not only translated it, which they do with every game, but, like, Kingdom Hearts 2 was the last time that they dubbed it in, like, Spanish, French, German. Like, they really went all out for that.
Maybe that's why it took so long.
That's probably exactly why it took so long, because they dubbed it, they did the facial animation for all of those countries.
Mm,
Like, it was a huge deal. And I really feel for those international fans, because when the game has been re-released in the remixes, they don't include the dubs.
that is a
Those dubs
shame.
are lost to the original versions.
Yeah. See, that's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
really sad.
I did not know about the KH2 rollout. That's like unheard of, to not have to be that in the dark. Like, I know we feel pretty in the dark now, but like at least we feel pretty confident that like if Japan gets it nowadays, we'll also get it, whether it's, on the same day or within a few days. To just
Yeah.
have nothing, to have radio silence for months is bonkers. So we are
Yeah.
pretty privileged now.
Yeah, even with the trailers, like, we usually get at the very least a subtitle version
Yeah.
in English when the Japanese ones go up. That was not the case for Kingdom Hearts 2.
Right.
I Most of the trailers for Kingdom Hearts 2, or at least a lot of them, were behind closed doors. So like, we had to wait for over the shoulder shaky cam footage of someone who snuck a camera into the various closed events.
Yeah.
And there are some Kingdom Hearts trailers that never saw the light of day in terms of like the public. Like, there are some that just never came out. They were never archived. We never had to see them.
Yeah.
And eventually Kingdom Hearts 2 was re-released as Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix in Japan in March of 2007, where it was coupled with the remake of Chain of Memories, Chain of Memories, in the Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Plus package. Final Mix, the Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix game is a director's cut, for those who don't know, that has it's basically a different game. It's a shit ton of new stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Comparing base Kingdom Hearts 2 with Final Mix, night and day.
Yeah.
And the versions that you can get now of Kingdom Hearts 2 in the remix packages are the Final Mix version. So the original version of Kingdom Hearts 2 is, you can't get it unless you get one of the old PS2 discs and pop it into your PS2. The games are different. They're just totally different. Like, lots of new cutscenes, lots of new boss fights, lots of new game mechanics. They're just totally different games.
Definitely the most dramatic difference between, the OG release and a Final Mix. Like, if you compare 1 to FM, sure, you'll find the recolors and a couple of new things here. But yeah, for 2, it's dramatic for sure.
I would argue the only one that is on par is Birth by Sleep's Final Mix.
Yeah, a lot of stuff out of there.
But I think that 2's is just more infamous. And it came complete with a secret ending, a new secret ending as well. So it's a hefty little thing. And right now in the public consciousness, when people talk about Kingdom Hearts 2, they're talking about Final Mix. And for me, there is a stark difference in Final Mix.
Yeah.
And for me, the base game of 2 versus the base game of some of the other Kingdom Hearts as they released is lacking. And I also think that, like, it's silly to expect every Kingdom Hearts game to be the same. Like, I know that people who really love 2 or really love Days or really love Birth by Sleep, like, they want more. And I don't think that they're wrong to want more. I do think there is some sort of intuition where you would assume that the next game in the series is very similar to the one that came before. In a lot of ways, they do share DNA. But I don't know. Like, it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta stop.
Yeah, it's like when you see like NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys do like a little reunion thing. It's like, okay, this is, nostalgic, but is it really like, the only music that we want to listen to and the only performance you want to see for the rest of our lives? Like, it's a little sad.
Seeing you in 4K, I can see the cracks in the veneer.
You talking about
like,
me?
Well, you, Joy Fatone, Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We're always grouped together, us 3.
Oh man, we could have made a really good Lance Bass joke. We
fumbled.
Whoop. But there are lots of really great things about 2 as well, and that's the point. Like, let's focus on that. We're like 10 minutes into this podcast.
we call that the pre-mortem.
That's your cold open.
Yeah,
cold as a slab. Who went first last time?
I don't know.
Well, you want to rock, paper, scissors? You want to go? You want me? Like, do you have a preference? I don't care.
It does sound really fun to rock, paper, scissors over an audio medium.
What if we do it and we just shout at each other?
I mean, how is that different from any other interaction? I'll just go first.
That could have been a really great cold open, us just shouting paper,
Paper.
scissors. But yeah, you're fine to go first. I think that we're gonna have very different topics.
I would
If I
assume
had to
so.
guess,
I mean,
I hope so.
I've kind of defaulted to like the dude bro take on Cage 2 because at the end of the day, like when I first experienced the game as I think I was in 4th grade. Like, sorry, PJ.
I'm gonna kill myself. Oh wait, let's talk about that before we hop
Yeah.
in. What was like what was your experience with getting it for the first time? Like what was going on? Where were you? What happened?
Yeah, so getting the game is actually a little bit hazier for me than like I remember vividly playing KH1 and Com for the first time. I'm much less clear on like my first session of playing 2, which is weird considering it happened after those 2 games, obviously. I more so have a memory of like discovering that 2 existed. And I'm sure I was very late to the party because I mean most people were because again you just mentioned how we had, little information going into this game. Or at least limited, at least compared to, nowadays. So I was at school in the library, and I don't know what I was supposed to be doing. We had like some task where we were allowed to be on the computers and looking stuff up or typing something. I found myself, I don't even know what website. I think I might have just been searching Kingdom Hearts because, like, hey, that's a thing, when you were a kid, at least for me, like Google was just like an entertainment venue. So you would just like type in things you were interested in. And you would, see images or maybe forums about that stuff. I saw an image of it's the cutscene where Axel shows up to try and like he does like that wine mom quote where he's like if you want to have a dream you got to act on it, one of life's little rules. And it's like what does he have? This as like a wooden sign in his kitchen. I think looking back I think that's such a weird Axel moment, but it's
Live, laugh, got it memorized.
yeah. So it's a picture of that scene with Axel and Kyrie like in the same shot, and that blew my mind because I think at that point I thought Axel had died in Chain of Memories because I don't know if I had made it to Reverse Rebirth, so I just assumed after you had the second fight with him in the Castle Oblivion floor that he was donezo forever. So that, and then like him being there with Kyrie, like they were just like, it's like when you see a work friend and then like a college friend shows up at the same time, and it's like your two worlds, your friend groups, your social groups have collided, and it's like uncomfortable but intriguing, morbidly. So that was like when I found out about it. And I want to say that I got KH2 like at release around, but I doubt I was there like day one. Because I like it came out in March, right? So like, there was no like event, I don't have a birthday then, and there's no holiday, so I don't know how I got it. But I mean, I remember really liking and enjoying it. When it came out, it was like the spring of 4th grade, I think, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Ugh.
Yeah, just had to bookend that again to make you feel bad at the end of the story.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Thank you. I was a freshman in high school, and I was sick, and I knew that the game had come out that day, and I knew that I couldn't get it, and I knew there was nothing I could do. I had a really bad head cold, and people were like, "Are you skipping for Kingdom Hearts 2?" I'm like, "I don't have it." So I was in bed, and my mom came in like in the middle of the day and was like, "Oh, hi, here," and she just gave it. Was so unceremonious, just like, "Here it is." And I played it, and I got to, I think, Land of Dragons.
And you put it down because you're like, "Oh, this is where it gets bad."
I was like, "No."
Thanks a lot, Ma.
Well, that was the week before spring break. So I was like, I could just wait and just play it uninterrupted and just have fun next week.
Yeah.
So I remember pacing myself, but also like I knew a lot of what had happened because there was a 3-month gap between Japan and America.
Right.
But even so, like there wasn't a lot of translating going on at the time, so like there was a lot that was just kind of misinterpreted about what had happened in Kingdom Hearts 2. And I don't even think the Ultimania was out yet, or if it had been, like it had just come out. So we got context for a lot of things when the localized version came out. But yeah, it was kind of a weird, like, it's that thing where like you wait for something for so long, and then like the second you get it, you're like, wait, this is not what I anticipated. This is
Yeah.
not what I imagined. This is not how I thought this would go. But also like, well, now what? Because like when you get it, you're kind of like afraid to do anything with it. Because
Yeah,
like,
you're
what
the,
if
the
it's
dog who caught the
bad?
car.
Yeah, that was exactly it. And yeah, it was a weird situation, a
Oh
weird
wait,
time.
can
But
I redo that, PJ? You're like the goofy that caught the hot rod. Could you dub that in so it's the first time I say it like that the first time? Leave
no,
this in.
but I but it was a weird situation where I don't know, like and that has happened with me before with Kingdom Hearts, where like it kind of happened with 3,
Mm,
because even though I'm a firm like we did not wait 10 years or 20 years or whatever for 3,
me as well.
um it still was a long time.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
I'm not gonna lie, 2013 to 2019 is a long time.
Yeah.
Um and then it was just the worst. Like we can talk more about it in the 3 episode,
Yeah.
but it's a weird sort of thing where expectation can really ruin the way that you interact with these games.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was not somebody who, and again, we will get to this in the 3 episode, but I was not somebody who like, gorged myself on every single scrap of 3 information. And so I think I found myself having a better time as like a moderately engaged fan who was like, I had played all of the games and I was like vaguely aware, like hard to avoid like the Frozen trailer, and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
the anti-Aqueduct at all. But I just think because I wasn't like, just scrounging up any little thing that I could get, that I had, a greater appreciation of it. I'm not saying, again, you're not invalid if you watched everything and you liked it or vice versa. Like,
I did.
because there are people that watched everything and they still loved it. There are people that watched nothing and they
That's
hated
me.
it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, it happens. We're 20 minutes deep, so
well, it's
I'm gonna
KH2. It's a
start the.
big game. We have second visits we got to get to.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Well, I was gonna make a joke about how all of our stuff isn't in the middle, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got the 10-minute timer up. Are you ready?
Yeah. I had kind of already delved into my point. So if you wanted to, you can just start me now.
Okay. Well, then let's go.
Yeah. So my thing I've brought for show and tell is Middle Point, Hollow Bastion, the artist soon to be known as Radiant Garden. The first time I got like I think as somebody who has KH2 as their third favorite, as somebody who will give it a hard time for its not its middle portions, but the points between the beginning, the middle, and the end. Like, the meat of the sandwich, pretty much. I don't think there's still been a moment where I've been as excited playing a game in the moment. Like I love KH1 all the way through. I find that to be like an overall more consistent experience for me. There's a lot of really cool stuff at the end game of KH3. There's a lot of fun stuff in Birth by Sleep, but like I don't think I was popping off as much as I was in that middle point. When we're doing Thousand Heartless, Demic shows up, Xemnas is at the dark depths. Sephiroth just drops in for some tea. Like it is so nuts. And that's like it's so powerful that's the reason why like it has the ability to cast amnesia on people. Like people forget any potential shortcoming that the game may have because this middle part is so good. It's so meaty. There's so much to sink your teeth into, not just on a gameplay level, but on a story level. Like I always like to consider it like this is where the world opens up for Kingdom Hearts. It's the true turning point of the series for me. It's where things start to become a bit more grander, a bit more involved. Like there's several powers at play and they're interacting and there's conflict between all these different, political factions basically. You have the nobodies, and you got Maleficent and P, and they're trying to get in on the action, and they're controlling the Heartless. But then they get, Sykes does the switcheroo, and he has control of the Heartless. And again, like you got these rogue agents of Sephiroth showing up. You take a piece off the organization's board by taking out Demix. Just the pure spectacle of a 1v1000 was unheard of to me as a child. Like that's it's like we truly have to factor in that like Nomura didn't want to like he wanted to do that, but he was like we might have to get rid of it because it's so crazy. But he's just like that kind of guy. Like he had his mindset on having this sequence, and they were gonna make it happen. We know from some early KH2 stuff that there's supposed to be like more stuff going on in that battle. Behemoths and Wyverns from KH1 were going to be there as well. So there's a history with this whole sequence, and even nowadays, like it's fun every time I go back. I'm playing on stream. Like it takes me right back to being that excited kid. I remember when I first played the game, I was so bummed out that I hadn't had the foresight of making a separate save file so I could like come back to this moment, and especially Thousand Heartless whenever I wanted. I didn't have that planning. So yeah, that's I'm putting all that out on the record there. That's like it's still peak. Like people call it peak, and I'm someone who's like, yeah, I agree. It doesn't erase like the qualms that I have with the rest of the game, but it's hard to not experience that portion of KH2 and not have a gigantic smile on my face.
I think while I do have issues with the pacing of the game,
Hmm.
I don't have any issues with the way that the middle point unfurrows.
Hmm.
I think that if Kingdom Hearts 3 had had a really good, like, end of Act 1, curtain down, big hub world experience like what you're talking
Mhm.
about, I think people would stop saying that Kingdom Hearts 3 has bad pacing.
Right, because they're trying to do the
Um,
one-for-one comparison. Like, where is my Thousand Heartless? And KH3 doesn't have that. It instead, like, gives you breadcrumbs throughout. Like, it gives you, here's 100 Heartless here. Here's another 100
yeah,
after you beat Arendelle, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah. And I agree. I remember in the Kingdom Hearts 2 lead up, and I'm sorry, but like most of my experience with 2 is waiting for it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that those trailers where you saw the Battle of 1,000 Heartless being, like one of the coolest parts of anything and being excited for that. But like snippets of that fight were how we learned that Stitch was in the game,
Mm,
that Yuna and Riku and Pain were in the game. Because they were splicing in footage of that battle in
right.
the trailers, and it was like Stitch is confirmed, Yuna and Riku are in Kingdom Hearts 2. Um, and for me, like just waiting to get to that hype moment, and there is a lot of fun in that camaraderie, like fighting alongside the Final Fantasy
Ooh,
characters. I'm not a huge Final Fantasy buff,
me neither, but like
but
you know them from your time in KH, and so it makes it
right.
so exciting. I can't believe I even forgot to mention that because there's so much. That's the crazy thing. Like I just talked about it for like 2 minutes straight, and I forgot about even like some more cool stuff.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 does fan service
Oh,
in a
it's
way that
amazing.
it's really great, right?
Hmm.
And it is really gratuitous and it's over the top, but like you don't come to the Kingdom Hearts for subtlety. You
No,
don't come to Kingdom Hearts not wanting to see all of your favorite friends because that's why you're there.
like
So even if you just
yes,
know them from the games, like that's hype. And then looking back on it, especially after my time with 7 and the 7 remake series, all of those characters who I feel a lot more attached to, um like it is really cool.
yeah.
And seeing Stitch join the battle, like somehow it feels like that wouldn't be allowed today. You
I
know what I
I
mean?
get the impression that it also would not be allowed. I think well, Stitch would have to be like this electroplasm being that's not actually Stitch. It's just this
Right.
manifestation of him because we can't have these characters appearing alongside these. We have to delineate and make sure everyone knows this isn't the real Stitch. This is
Right,
just
right.
it's like the Tupac hologram. Don't worry about it.
And Stitch is one of my favorite Disney
Oh,
characters.
I
So
loved
like
him. He was my favorite.
that was always a great moment for me.
Yeah.
And the king is there. You have to
Yep.
take out an organization member. Like they really just said, you know what? We're gonna put our whole Kingdom Hussy in
Yes.
this.
The entire fucking kitchen sink and then some.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why people love Kingdom Hearts, because it's like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just do
Right. Like you said,
every crazy
going
thing.
back to the subtlety thing, like I don't want subtlety. Hit me in the face with a colorful cartoon hammer. Like that's
Mhm.
what I want. And Cage 2, especially the middle, is just whacking you in the face over and over. Leon and Cloud back to back doing some fucking 80s action movie quote. Like God, again I had not played FF7. I still haven't played FF8 at that time. Like it is. And I'm loving every minute of it. These two characters that I met like at max 3 years ago. I'm like, oh man, I've known these guys my whole life. We went to war together, and here
Oh,
they
their
are.
big swords are so cool. Look at them.
Yeah, yeah.
It was, yeah, no, I agree. And also like the narrative implications of the things that you're doing, like the long and kind of drawn out reveal about Ansem
Hmm.
and what was actually happening there. And the game changer of like, hey, every time that you help someone, you're actually hurting the world.
Yeah,
Every time that you release a Heartless, and you just released 1,000 hearts, by the way,
yeah.
thanks.
That's a huge help.
Um,
Thank you.
wow, like good job, incredible. and like really understanding the like it took me a long time to really understand like what was bad about what was going on in Kingdom Hearts 2,
Yeah.
in terms of like what the organization was doing. And then I guess horribly late I realized that the hearts, once they're held captive, cannot recomplete.
Hmm.
So like you are interrupting someone being restored to
Right.
their original state. But like sitting with the guilt of that is
Yeah, like
it's messed up.
again, to bring back to my original point of like the world opening up, like the universe of KH is expanding. Like I am feeling narrative consequence as a child when I'm like interacting with the base gameplay loop of this game, right? Like I
Mhm.
see Heartless out in the field now and I'm like, you know, I'm young, so like I'm not even fully considering like it doesn't really matter, Patty. Like nothing. The game is still going to continue on as normal, regardless if you do these optional encounters or not. But I think back, I remember thinking back to, Sykes standing there in the dark depths and explaining to me how this whole process works, how I'm like interrupting this transfer of souls basically and helping the bad guys who have been such dicks to me, calling me the wrong
Mhm.
name for hours now. And I'm like, oh, should I kill these assault riders and landed dragons now, or should I just run past them? Like that's
I
amazing.
think we have to kill this guy, Sora.
Yeah.
And Maleficent like switching sides was another like what is
I
happening
loved it.
moment.
I still do. That's like her last hurrah, really. Maybe you can point to like her and Pete charging off at the end of the game and World That Never Was. But her relevance is on diminishing returns by even this point, and it's only like her
Mhm.
second real appearance if you don't count like she's often just like a memory projection in Com. So like Maleficent's on the downtrend, but she's got a couple of hits to still play. So that's really fun. I also want to put out there that like I've ranked the KH2 worlds, which at this point is going to be almost 5 years ago. And that's sickening for me. Um,
Haha.
and I had Radiant Garden as the third highest. So I ranked it was all the original worlds at the top, and it was Radiant Garden, then World That Never Was, and then Twilight Town. So it might seem like, okay, I'm bringing this Radiant Garden thing here as my favorite. And that kind of contradicts what I said in that world ranking, but I still stand by like all three of these original worlds, like the beginning, middle, and end. Oh man, those are my 10 minutes, but just
Yeah.
to wrap up that point,
Yeah, go ahead.
I love the original worlds in KH2, potentially more than any other of the original showings in any of the other games added up. Like, I will still favor like a KH1 Hollow Bastion as a sole unit over anything else that the games have to offer, but the beginning, middle, and end of KH2 are basically perfect in my eyes. It's all that stuff in the middle, the pesky, vegetables that I'm picking through to get to the meat. So I would still say that like I love the tactile experience of walking around Twilight Town and existing in that space more than any time I'm in Radiant Garden, but like the set piece of Radiant Garden, and specifically that middle visit, I think is just premier peak KH2.
Mhm. Wow. Well, I agree, and what a good chunk of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was yeah, good, great.
Woo.
I kind of want to jump into mine
Yeah.
because we're taking we're taking a minute with this episode, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and just start my timer. A little different here, and I feel vastly qualified to start
Mm.
talking about this. But I want to talk about the music of Kingdom Hearts
Ooh,
2.
okay.
I think and I really looked back and thought about this, and I think that Kingdom Hearts 2 probably does have the best soundtrack of the series.
Yeah, it's so for me, I'm obviously gonna like default to, a lot of KH1 tracks. Very Smallish, my favorite KH track in general that, debuts in KH1. But if you
Mhm.
really look at like the body of work that we're dealing with in KH2, like we're getting so much stuff that still has relevance in the series when we get to a KH3, stuff that gets iterated on through like, remixes or rearrangements in later titles. Like the Organization 13 theme is so huge. Like it shows up here first, it gets reused and re-implemented in all these different ways. There's a lot of standout tracks in KH2.
Mhm. And to kind of talk a little bit about the composition of it. The composer of the Kingdom Hearts series is Yoko Shimomura. She has done like I want to say like maybe 90% of the music in Kingdom Hearts.
Hmm.
And she oversaw all of it. And for the first game, It's a very simple soundtrack in a lot of ways that's beautiful and gorgeous and has some of the best songs and the most memorable songs in the series. And then in 2, I mean, every part of 2, in terms of production quality, stepped up.
Mhm.
Every single aspect of that game is way more polished than the first game. And for pretty good reason. I mean, it was one of the last PlayStation 2 games that Square did. And it was really late in the PlayStation 2's life cycle. In fact, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix was the last PlayStation 2 game that Square Enix made. And you really see that, like, they understand the console, they understand the limitations, they understand what they have to work with, and that also goes to show what they were doing with sound. Because in the old days, you, for the most part, when you're talking about video game music, the PlayStation is doing the music. They aren't recording songs. They're programming them into the game, and the console sound files are playing along with the program. So for nowadays, they would record the song, and the song would be played, MP3 or whatever in the game. And in fact, when they re-released 2 and 1, they got a live orchestra and just re-recorded the soundtrack with actual instruments. So the versions that you hear in the remixes are with an actual orchestra, and they're in a lot of ways like really different than what we listened to when the original game came out. But the way that Yoko understood the way that sound worked on the PlayStation, I mean, you would never really think that much about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like this is a MIDI. Like you wouldn't really think, like,
Right.
You weren't recognizing that. And I remember, not every song, by the way, is like that. Like some songs do have actual instrumentation in Kingdom Hearts, but most of them were through the sound files. And the first thing that I really heard from Kingdom Hearts 2 when it came out was the Dearly Beloved, or Dearly Beloved, as some people would say. And
wait, am I saying it wrong?
It's a colloquialism.
Okay.
It should probably be Beloved, because that's how people say it at events. But when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, and I realized, like, oh, we're not getting it for a while. Like, I started listening to rips and watching cutscenes and things like that. And the first thing that I heard was someone had ripped the Dearly Beloved, and I cried.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's real.
Yeah.
And it was just so epic and a really weird kind of, it was the same song, but it had been beefed up, and it was real. Like, it was telling me, like, this game is real, it's happening. And not to speak ill of Utada Hikaru, because their soundtrack is, like, their music, the contributions to the theme songs that they have done over the course of Kingdom Hearts is a big reason why people came to Kingdom Hearts, including me in the first place.
Me too, yeah.
And so Passion and Sanctuary, those are bangers, but I think that Utada usually gets the lion's share of the conversation when it comes to the soundtrack, and I don't think that's fair. Because Yoko and her team have just done so much more. And you bob and you weave your way through the game, and, like, even though we had already heard Lazy Afternoons, the Twilight Town theme, and Train of Memories, like, it still hits you really hard.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you nostalgic for a place that you've never been.
Yeah.
Without any real experience there. Like, even when you're playing it for the first time, you're like, why does this hit me so hard? And Afternoon Streets is trash, but everything else is really great.
Wait a minute, there's no sad face. We can't be saying trash before our minute timer starts.
I'm sorry. Well, that's not my sad thing. That's not my sad thing.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But bobbing and weaving through the different character themes as well, because in the first game you just have Kairi. And Kingdom Hearts 2, it gives you Roxas, it gives you Sora, it gives you Riku. Organization 13 has their theme. And the Disney World themes are also great. Like, Waltz of the Damned is
I love that.
such
it's beautiful.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite track in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
And you enter in Beast's castle, and you're like, this is exactly where I am. And I have always really admired Yoko for being like, well, we're not just going to use the Disney music
Yeah,
for the Disney
because
worlds.
it would be so easy to do, like to have like a kind of battleified "Be Our Guest" or something, or
Yeah.
"Just Can't Wait to Be King" as the field
And
theme for
sometimes it
Triland.
works.
Right, like this is
Sometimes you're like,
Halloween, okay,
right.
makes sense.
Like, I can't really do better than that.
Hmm.
Or, like this really fits. Or, um, every once in a while she'll sneak in a different song. Like Beauty and the Beast did play in Beast's Castle at
Yeah,
the very
very
end
end, yeah.
of that, and it worked. Like it was a really beautiful kind of earned moment that was
Mm.
really nice. But you've got Apprehension and Vim and Vigor. Rowdy Rumble makes
Mm.
its debut in Kingdom Hearts
Yeah,
2, and that's huge.
big one.
And even the different versions of songs that we've heard before, like the Hollow Bastion theme, totally gets a reworking
Oh, and
because it's a different
yeah,
world.
a different, totally different atmosphere. I mean, it's called Reviving Hollow Bastion, and it feels like this momentum building, like this dying thing that's being brought back to life. It's so beautiful.
It's just great. And a quick anecdote about the soundtrack, which I think no, we've got enough time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but during Kingdom Hearts 2's promotion, they did not tell us what Roxas's name was.
I
He
mean,
was known in the fandom as the
oh,
blonde-headed
wait,
kid,
I knew
BHK.
all about BHK. I guess I had just figured that surely someone would have figured it out before. I'm sure
Nope,
someone did, right? Nobody
nope,
knew at all.
nope.
Crazy.
The most common theory was like his name was Eros, which was Sora backwards. Like
Mm,
everyone was pretty sure that he was Sora's nobody,
right.
and we didn't really have like the nomenclature in the early days to say what a nobody was. But it was very apparent really early on that like he's another version of Sora.
Yeah.
But we couldn't, and to be fair, like we didn't see his face for the first year of promotion.
Mm,
They showed it at the end of Chain of Memories.
right.
And then
And obviously you have
and
like
then they
the
started
one secret ending, but even that, like for a time, was just like a proof of concept for what a KH2 could be, and that wasn't like necessarily like this is Roxas.
And then when they showed him in Chain of Memories, they did like a whole press thing after where they showed Roxas in game.
Mm-hmm.
And they still didn't call him by his name, but they showed us his face and the artwork that had his like HUD
Mm-hmm.
image. And people were like, "Oh, this is Sora's face. This is another
Right.
version of Sora." But it didn't really click for people that all the organization members, like their names were anagrams with
Mm-hmm.
X, which like how could you without that context?
Right. Yeah.
So the name Roxas was never theorized, but Kingdom Hearts 2 was like a month from coming out, and two things happened. A promotional candy came out before the street date that revealed that his name was Roxas.
Jesus Christ,
Um,
dude! These games are so fucking dumb. Are you kidding me?
I know. Yeah.
And now I'm learning in 2025 about the street candy. Okay.
And the soundtrack broke the street date,
Mm.
and it had Roxas listed in the track list.
Oh.
So everyone was like, "Oh my god, Arrows is close."
Yeah. Yeah, pretty close.
It's close. Oh no. And so that was kind of how, the soundtrack was really what clinched it. Like that's how we learned that his name was Roxas. But they didn't say it. They didn't confirm it. They didn't mention it in any press material. Like you were meant to find out his name when you started the game, because then once you see it, you're like, oh, this is Sora.
Yeah.
Like you understand what the thing is. You get the gimmick as soon as you see the name.
Right.
So I think that they were smart not to do that, and
I
like
agree.
for all of the stuff that they spoil in promotional material for the games, like them not doing that, I think is nice. Like that was a real twist.
Yeah. PJ, you have to. I'm not a huge fan of like the iceberg format of videos, but like any other person in the world who would make like a Kingdom Hearts iceberg is going to have shit like at the very bottom is going to be like, did you know that Bahamut was going to be a summon in KH1?
You can freeze the bubbles and all.
Yes, this is top level, like, getting beams from the sun tier trivia. What we need is a true iceberg with the fucking KH2 candy down there in the depths next to these angler fish.
Yeah,
what
Kingdom Hearts 2 had a lot of surprises. Like, they didn't reveal Tifa. Tifa was a surprise
that's fun.
when you play the game for the first time.
Yeah, nowadays you're gonna know everybody who's in there.
Every single thing. Scrooge was a surprise. Like there were lots of things that they just didn't. But to be fair, like there's a lot in that game.
Yeah, no, it's a big game. It's hard. They don't have the time or the resources to show everything ahead of time.
Who wants to go first on the negging?
I guess I'll go to keep it
Yeah, go
keep it
ahead.
symmetrical here.
Sure.
And I
I'll
touched
get the
on the
timer
yeah.
started. I don't have it started, so I've got it ready.
Okay.
So whenever you're ready to go, I'll
All
press
right.
start.
I'm ready. And I kind of touched on this a bit throughout my, praising of the game. I don't think it's much of a surprise for any like longtime viewers of me listening to this. I don't have a ton of nice stuff to say about like 80% of the KH2 runtime, like all of the stuff that I didn't highlight in my love fest there. And I always catch shit for it, and people doubt, like in the comments, whether I'm telling the truth about the game being in my personal top 10. Like they don't believe what I'm saying. I have to reiterate that it's there because it's so fun to play and meant so much to me when I first played it, in spite of like the total conveyor belt of nothing.
30 seconds, Pat. Come
Sorry,
on.
it's the game the game serves you these nothing burgers between Twilight Town and Thousand Heartless, and then Thousand Heartless to the end game. I talked in the last episode about like how Calm always circles back to the core narrative and the overarching original KH plot. KH2 just refuses to do that at a reasonable pace. The vast majority of Disney Worlds in 2 are maybe thematically relevant and resonant. On a plot level, they're completely self-concerned. By extension, they always felt less magical than the Disney Worlds in 1. KH1 and to a lesser extent 3 don't feel nearly as episodic and insulated when it comes to his Disney Worlds. I don't want to be plopped into like this baddie of the week Saturday morning cartoon episode over and over. I want to feel like I'm experiencing a continuous flowing narrative. I'm not saying any of the games do that perfectly. The only reason I'm so passionate and irritable about this, PJ, is because this exact criticism was and still is levied against KH3, while 2 is let off scot-free in the same breath when it is by far the most guilty of what I've described. That was like 90 seconds.
I let you have a little bit more because you didn't actually start talking.
I had a bit of a runway
30
there.
seconds in.
Yeah, a bit of a blustery sort of build up. A lot of bluster.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
And also like nothing.
What do you mean? What do you mean it was nothing?
Like it wasn't nothing. Like you had your point, but like I'm still not sure what the core thesis of your argument was.
My core
pacing bad.
Pacing bad, yes. I guess I never said the P word. Is that yeah? Pacing bad. Okay, all right. Like
you ever just get so bad? You ever have a dream that you hated that you want
you want him to hate you so much that you can do anything? Yes. I'm sure the good people at home in the NSF feed, they're gonna be able to intuit that I was talking about the pacing.
1 minute. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna talk about before I start.
Okay.
So that I don't.
Good idea.
Waste
so you don't do what I
time.
did. Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is a fucking chore factory, and I'm sick of people not recognizing it for what it is. There's no worse place where this is highlighted than the fucking drive forums.
Yeah.
In concept, cool idea, whatever. But like, they hand you this cool mechanic, right, that you can't wait to try out. And then there are all these rules. It's hard to get to. It's at the bottom of the menu, so you got to flip through that in the heated battle. You're like, oh God, I accidentally did the wrong form. Not to mention, there are secret rules. There are all these secret rules about how to level it up that you can't figure out until you go to the fucking menu and you hit it and you look in and then you highlight the right thing and you see the fucking text at the bottom of the screen that says, oh, you can only level up by fighting Heartless. Nobody's getting your fucking balls. Get some fucking balls and you'll level up. How about that? And this would be whatever if it were like a mechanic you could ignore, but like all of the fun, cool abilities are locked behind leveling up this system.
Yeah.
And also, you use it too much, you get punished. It gives you this thing, makes this mechanic the core of the game, and then it punishes you for fucking using it. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And also, by the time you finish it, by the time you get them all leveled up, by the way, you're at the end of the game, and you don't need it anymore. Like,
the fact that like
what?
Most people probably do beat KH2 without ever gliding. Because you don't have to.
No.
You get access to it. Let's say you're playing 2FM. So the earliest you can have it is like between Roxas and Zigbar. And then you got like what, 3 more bosses until you're at point of no return.
And without Final Mix added the puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
Before that, there was zero reason to platform in the game anyway.
Yeah. I could have that could have been my negative thing too, is like the world design. I had to pick. It was a real selfish choice to pick which one I want.
And this is peak. This is what people call Birth by Sleep floaty about, is the battle mechanics. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, so just Ugh. Ugh. Horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went over. I mean, look, it's our podcast.
Yeah. Listen, we're playing fast and loose. Cage 2 is a big
guidelines.
Game. We got big things to say about it.
Yeah. And the big things were at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. And everything else.
Everything else, you could probably skip through it.
Everything else is fluff. It's whatever. What a great time.
Yeah, this was fun.
What a perfect thing. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and record our bumper right now.
Okay.
And I'm going to do it live on this one, but then I'm going to add it in retroactively on the other episodes. So thank you for listening to another great episode of No Sad Face, or if this is your first episode, welcome. You can find out everything about this series at nosadface.com. It will have past episodes. It'll have different places to watch. It'll have my links. It'll have Pat's links. It'll have credits. Speaking of which, our music is done by the incredible David Russell from Project Estati. Go and download his music. He is phenomenal. There will be links in nosadface.com. Art is done by the incredible Espurr Roba. Ingenious, again, links in the thing. All of the animation that we have for our videos, those are also done by David. Honestly, these people give us way more than we deserve, and we're very thankful. And if you want to listen to other episodes, they're all there. And if you want to find out when the next episode is, those dates will be listed on the website. And check it out. Follow us on social media.
Do it. That's my input.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.